Hi everyone, Matt here. I got a question for you. Do you think there's just one exact path that we do for the rehab journey of a patient, or you think maybe there's some little bridges in there? Let's talk about it. All right, everyone. First and foremost, let me introduce myself. My name is Matt. I am Matt the PT, coming at you with another video on another topic of something in the physical therapy world. And this one is about the rehab journey. You know, I always say the rehab journey is that that person comes to you day one. You go along this path till you reach that end where they're feeling great and back to their function or whatever. That's a journey that somebody goes through. And this came about from a discussion a friend of mine had online here recently, because somebody had made a post about, my buddy is an expert in an area, and somebody made a post just kind of dismissing the area where he's an expert. And to which my buddy said, I get the biggest thing that's going to help people is like, yes, exercising and moving. We are going to get the best results. And I utilize that so much with so many of my patients. However, I have found this little thing that helps people. I get people that come in that can't really start exercising very well. It's very hard for them. And if I utilize this thing, it bridges them over to start moving and doing all these things and to really, really start to get better. And I felt like this is something that really gets missed out there. And it's probably an area of misunderstanding when we talk about like treatments and things that people prefer and those things. And that's really kind of what I want to bring up and talk about with this. I know early on in our career, when you come out of school, you're a generalist. You know a little bit about a lot of things. And again, that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. School, PT school, OT, speech school, what have you, teaches you a little bit about a lot. And that's not a bad thing, but I find like, you want to learn about an area that you may want to go into. And that's what I feel school is. We're going to expose you to all these things, and people who tend to like one area, they're going to kind of gravitate over into that. So when you come out of school, you know a little bit about a lot. But when you go into your area of focus or that setting that you have, that those other things tend to kind of fall away. I know I'll use my example. I've told y'all many times, orthopedics is my big thing. I tell people, I don't remember all the, developmental milestones for pediatrics. Because I don't see pediatrics. I don't remember things like the Glasgow Coma scale because I don't work in that area. And those things are not really important for me to remember because they're not going to translate over into what I do. So yeah, as we go about into our career, we kind of focus into those settings and things like, that we really like. Then once we get into those settings, start working with patients and doing that, you can start finding that there's areas that you feel like you're lacking in, or that you want to know more. Because maybe you're getting people in saying, I'm just not getting as good a result with these patients or this condition or this or that. And I want to learn more. I want to get better. And that's where continuing education comes in. So that's when we start taking the courses, because we're trying to fill this little gap. We're trying to bridge this gap, really. It's like I said earlier, we're trying to bridge this gap. Because I really feel that the vast majority of therapists out there understand the biggest things that help patients. If you look at all the research out there, overall, it says like exercise and movement, and being positive. Those are the things that get the biggest results with people. And that so many of us understand that we understand that, like, yes, this big thing over here is going to provide the biggest, best benefit for patients. Yes, we all can agree and we can all say that. But there's that thing my buddy said, that bridge from where that patient comes in today to getting them over to where they can really move and exercise and do those things that are going to get that really, really big benefit. And I feel like that bridge is where we fight and argue and disagree more than anything. And I really want to talk more about that little area right there because, like I said, I think this turns into the area where we start to argue and fight and disagree so much. And we lose the overall sense of we're doing this to help patients. And everyone's situation is a little different. And that's where these things can come in. That these treatment philosophies or these modalities, and modalities can be anything, or these interventions, whatever, we're seeing that to bridge that little gap. Now, I do find that there's an issue that can arise, that really can arise for that little thing right there. And I think this is really something that is kind of like an offshoot because everyone's just trying to be better. Everyone's just trying to be a better clinician. We all just want to be a better clinician. We all want to be the best that we can be. But there's people that I really feel that get into some thing of whatever, and they start to believe like it's just the only thing that treats. It's the only and best. Everything else is terrible. There's that thing I talked about last time, that treatment. I'm not going to say treatment. It's that, exercise philosophy those weirdos have that they say this is the ultimate best. It just treats everything and everyone else is foolish for not believing us. And we're going to prove them wrong eventually, maybe, could be, possibly one day, but they don't ever want to do anything about it. But I even see this in therapy. Like I've worked with a guy that thought dry needling was the cure-all for everything. This guy didn't care what you came in. He whipped out needles and just needled everybody. But if you start talking to the patients, you find there was a percentage of people who really, really benefit. They said, oh my gosh, that helped me the best. That helped me the most. I feel great. I want that again. There's people that fell on the other side. Like, that was terrible. It made me worse. It made me hurt. Oh my gosh. Like, don't ever do that again. And then there's people that do fall in the middle. I think a good many people fall in the middle where it's like, kind of helped a little bit, man. I really didn't see a big thing. And, maybe some of those people did feel like it bridged that gap or whatnot. But again, typically the people that kind of get in that area, they just find like, no. This is the only thing. They're just so narrowly focused on things that they lose that sight. And I don't feel like that's a very, very good thought to have as a therapist, really, that there's just like, nope, everything else is silly. And even if it's just exercise and movement is the only thing to do, I think we miss a point on there. And if you have a technique or something that you find is most beneficial for your patients to get them better, hit that thumbs up button. Back to the video. And I say that because some of the best therapists I've ever met, spoken with, watched, read about, what have you, really know a handful of things so well. They know the things for that bridge. And I mean, they also understand exercise, movement, empowering people to overcome their pain, that you don't need all these other stuff, that everything that the research shows that, what to do, but they understand that little bridge with the people that come in, because there are people that come in. Oh yeah, we're going to start strengthening. We're going to start doing this. We're going to, overcome. We're going to do this. But there's times that people come in. Maybe they're very scared for one reason or another. They're scared because they think their pain's going to get worse. They're scared because, the pain is so bad that if they move, like, it could cause further damage. Maybe they're just so deconditioned that there's something there, and they understand, okay, if I utilize this method, this approach, this technique, it's going to get them comfortable. It's going to get them feeling okay to do those things that are really, really going to benefit. And the thing, based upon that really separates a great therapist versus, good therapist, which I feel many, many therapists are very, very good, is that they know who they can help and who they can't with something. They're not going to be like those people who are just like, I'm a purist and this is the only way to do it, and if it doesn't work, it was because it's the patient's fault or there are no faults with this. It's just because you didn't believe it. They're not that. That they say, yes, I understand. Like, if we do this, it's going to get you over, and we know when to remove it. So that could be any of those modalities or stuff that we talk about, needling, taping, cupping, any of this, any one of these things or any kind of like treatment method or even like modalities like heat or ice or ultrasound. They say, you know what, if I utilize this to get across this little bridge and that patient builds that rapport with me and they feel really good, does it really matter that I did this stuff to them or I had this approach or I believe in that? I found somebody who it would benefit for, that they found a benefit in that thing that got them over that bridge to do those other things. And that is huge. That's where I feel we get into all this squabbling and arguing. We're just over this little thing right here. And ultimately, we're all just trying to figure out the best thing to do for our patient. We're all just trying to find that little bridge that will help more of the people. Now, there is some advice I give to every, if I get students or I get or whatnot, when it comes to like learning about that little bridge type thing, I say, really look at who you're seeing. When you get in, everywhere is different. And I will say that every location and all that is different. But if you're recognizing like, hey, there's a significant portion of the patients coming in that I feel if I utilized this thing, it's going to help many of them. It's going to help a lot of them get to, again, moving and exercising and doing those things. That's going to get the biggest bang for my buck in doing this. And I would say, I know an example. I would use this from years ago. One company I was with would bring in, they always wanted you to take the courses that they would bring in, but it was K-taping. They're like, oh, no, you can do this K-taping course. I saw, and this was my experience, and I would like you to share yours. That's what I would see. Oh, we're going to bring this K-taping in. And I go, the vast majority of the people coming in are not going to benefit from this K-taping. They're not. They're going to get either really reliant on it. It's going to be too much time. No, I do not see a benefit for utilizing it. It's going to be a waste of time. Like, I don't want to have the thing of like, oh, this is a tool in the toolbox, because who's going to use it? Maybe someone every once in a while could benefit from it, but I'm not going to use it. But there's something like, I would say, dry needling. And there's a lot of people that have their feelings about dry needling that I will say, I dry needle, and I found that there's a percentage of people that would come in that can benefit from it. And I've talked to people who do dry needling, and they said, I get people up extra doing this stuff, but sometimes I find they get somebody over a bump. That kind of gets them over this to feel more confident and gets them feeling better. That could be things with like blood flow restriction, where, okay, we're going to do this. And, somebody after surgery, it helps them with here. Somebody's very deconditioned. It's going to help them it's those little things. And they're seeing that there's an adequate population of people coming to them that they find this is going to really, really benefit from them. But they're good enough. They're to understand this is who's coming in. They know how to use it, and they know when not to use it. So it's not being used on everyone. So there it is. That's that little bridge. Let me know. Do you see this? Do you see that there's like a little bridge that goes on with patients? Sometimes I got to get people over this thing to get that biggest bang, to get them exercise and moving and doing all of that. Let me know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, hit that thumbs up button. Please consider subscribing to the channel. It doesn't cost you a copay or anything. And until next time, take care of yourself. Take care of your patients. I'll see you then.